Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name's Melissa and this is Melissa Knits for Fun. Well guys, today, this episode, I have one finished object, one that is so close that I thought about delaying recording until tomorrow, but I decided that that would have been cheating. And then I have a new cast on and a couple of repeating whips, as well as a little pouty girl, because I still haven't done anything with her this week, but she's just too beautiful not to showcase. All right, so let's get started by telling you what I'm wearing, and this is the Anchors Tee by Petite Knit. And I knit this, it's been a couple of years ago now that I knit this. I knit it on a trip to Canada. I was on a cross Canada country trip, and I knit this while we were traveling. I got it finished. So it brings back really great memories of hanging out, seeing the beautiful countryside in Canada, and knitting away on this. And I knit this out of one single strand of 10 pure Ghent. And I just don't remember what the colorway was, but it was, you know, this beautiful pale pink. And it's actually a little bit pinker in person. It's not quite as close to my skin color as it appears. It is a little bit lighter. When I have a tan in the summer, it looks really, really good. And I just, guys, living in the southern United States, it gets so hot that it is like we're walking on the surface of the sun. And so I love the fact that I can throw this on, wear a hand knit, and not be so hot that I just want to throw it off. And on the really weird days, kind of like we're in right now, I can wear this and then simply grab a cardigan. And I had this down there because I was going to wear it for this episode and decided not to. But I can grab a cardigan and throw it on over this, and you can see it looks really nice. And then I'm layered up, so when it's cool in the evenings and then the early morning, but I don't need as much in the afternoon, that it makes it really easy just to take the cardigan off, and then I still have a hand knit on. I love this piece. It is so versatile, and I wear it in the summer. I wear it at least once a week, and you can see it has held up so well. I throw this in the washer and usually the dryer, but sometimes I'll lay it out flat to dry, but it always goes in the washing machine, and you can see the fabric is just gorgeous. This yarn has held up really, really well. So one of my favorite yarns is the Sandusgarn Lena line, I guess you would say, because they have the 10 Lena that is it is fingering weight. They have the Lena, which they call worsted, but I would argue that it's a DK. And then they have the Tick Lena, which they say is bulky, but I think that that is more of a worsted, maybe leaning into a heavy worsted. All right, now I think I've told you everything I really, well, not everything that I can. I could really get into the pattern and everything else, but I've told you everything that you're probably interested in knowing about what I'm wearing. So let's move right along. I have a finished object. Look at this. This is the pumpkin dress. And again, I am horrible about forgetting who the designer is. I got this off of the Hobie website. This is a free pattern, and it is just adorable. As usual, I will have all of the information down in the corner. I actually think it's this corner over here that I usually put the information in, but I'll have all the information, the name of the pattern, the designer's name, and the yarn and colorways. This I knit out of Letha's hand-dyed yarns, or Sweet Skeins hand-dyed yarns. And I had an entire ball left out of this, and it took me about not quite 90 grams in order to knit this entire dress. And I did this, I had an entire skein left over from when I did my Zuri Sweater, where I held this with some knitting for olive mohair. And so I decided that that would be a great way to use up this yarn. It is a superwash and nylon. And of course, with it being a ribbing, it does stretch and goes right back into place. It's such a lovely bouncy yarn. And the nylon also helps it to keep its shape. And this will be great for a baby, because let me tell you, if y'all know anything about babies, they spit up a lot. They go through clothes like crazy. And I knit this in the 3 to 6 month. The baby was born on January the 26th. By the time I get it to her, she'll probably be close to a month old. Well, actually, she'll probably be older than a month because we're already the middle of already the middle of February, and I've still got a baby blanket to do. But she'll probably be a little bit older than that. She'll be about 6 weeks old. I did a 3 to 6 month because it will stretch out and grow with her. But look, it's still small enough that she should be able to wear it now. That is one thing I love about ribbing. And if you remember, if you've been with me for a little while, and I'll pop up the pictures up here, I made her sister's dresses. I made her brother a shirt, but I made her sister's dresses that had some of the ribbing as well. I did the Sunday dress and the Anchors dress, and both of those have ribbing up in the yoke. And so for little sister, it just made sense to have ribbing all the way down. All right, I can't say a whole lot more about this just because there's not a lot more to say. This was a really fun knit. It went really, really fast. In fact, the arms, oh my gosh, I sat down yesterday and I think it took me 2 or 3 hours to knock out the last sleeve. And so now it is ready to be sent off. I've just got to wash it. I haven't washed it yet, so that will be next. I will wash it. I'll probably throw it in the dryer because that's what Mom's going to do. So I want to see what it's going to do. I think it'll peel just a little bit, but we'll see. I might lay it flat to dry, but we'll see how I feel whenever I get it washed. But that is going to be washed very soon. I didn't do it already because I wanted to be able to show it on this episode. All right, now moving right along to the one that I said is so close to being done that I almost skipped recording today just so that I could get the other sleeve done. And that is my Lynx Pullover by Crayabea. And this is my final test knit. And guys, when I get this off the needles and I don't have another test knit on my needles, it will be the first time in over a year I have not had a test knit on my needles. I am both unhappy and happy to be in this situation. I love test knitting, but I'm really kind of happy to have deadlines off the table so I don't feel like I have something looming that I have to get done. This is due March the 2nd. I will get it done. I've just got one sleeve to do. You see, I've got this one sleeve done. I've got the entire body done. I'll do the other sleeve. If I just sit down and do the sleeve, I'll get it done 2 days max. This one took me not quite a week. I mean, I did have to finish up the ribbing. And let me tell you, this body ribbing took forever, guys. I just have to say, the body ribbing took forever. I thought it was the never-ending ribbing. This ribbing did not take near as long. Obviously, it's a much smaller circumference. But I got the body ribbing done late last week. I think maybe on Friday. No, it must have been, well, it may have been Friday before I wound up running up to the yarn shop for a little while because I did have it done Friday. And so I cast this on Saturday and I cast it off today. So it's been on for a little while, but I was really concentrating on trying to get the baby dress done. So that took some of my time. So I think if I just really, buckle down, I'll be able to get this done in just a couple of days. And so this will be finished next week. I'm hoping to get it done in time to block it, get everything done to where that I can wear this next week. If it's warm like it is today, I may have to put a little personal fan hanging around my neck to try to be cool enough to wear it. But by golly, I will wear it next week for the episode. And this is knit out of Drops Lima, which is their 65% wool, 35% alpaca blend. It's just beautiful, and you'll be able to see a lot better once it's washed and blocked and everything, but it's got this really pretty halo. I love this yarn, and this is another one of those, it's an entire line, kind of like the Sandusgarn Lena, or, the Peer Gant has 10 Peer Gant and Peer Gant for Sandusgarn. So they have a couple of different weights. This Drops is the same way. The Flora is the fingering weight. The Lima is the DK weight. And then there's a Nepal, which is a worsted weight. And all three of them are the exact same blend, 65% wool, 35% alpaca. And I don't know if this one or the Flora has the most colorways in it, This one's got a lot of really beautiful colors. This is Petrol and Ruby Wine. They've got red, they've got a pink. I know that I have the pink personally. I know that Flora also has a red, and I think they have the pink, but it's more bubblegummy. It doesn't look like the Lima. So the colors, even though they're the same color across the lines, they do take a little bit differently, and I don't understand why, but it is what it is. So I had these two in stash for different projects, and I pulled from them. So eventually I'll replace the yarn because I'll still want to do those projects in those colors. But that's what I'm knitting this out of. And as I said, next week it will be done. And for the first time in over a year, I will have not one test knit on my needles. And at that point, I will pivot and I will work on the little pouty girl, because she has really been upset with me that I have not worked on her. But I want to make sure I show her off. Look at how beautiful this is. I mean, this has to be one of the most beautiful items I have ever knit. And I had somebody ask me the other day, they said, hey, do you think that that would be good for a beginner? Like somebody who's not done color work before, or maybe I've done color work, but it's been like a little bitty thing of color work, maybe just like a slip stitch one. What is that called? Oh, I have just drawn a blank. I'll put it down here. It's a way of, it's a color work. Intarsia is where you have the ones here. There, I can't think of it. It starts with an M. I'll put it down here. Anyway, you know, somebody who's done that where they've only had to work with one color at a time because you slip stitches. You know, this is a stranded color work, so you have two colors. And somebody asked me, hey, would this be a good pattern? So I reached out. I'm in a knit along. Dorothy Officiers or Adorable Knits. She's the designer. And she has a knit along running on Instagram. And so I'm in that knit along. So I just asked the group. I said, hey, is there anybody in here who this is their first color work? And there were a few people in there that were like, yes, it's my first color work sweater. I've never done anything like this before. I've not done stranded knitting. And so I just asked them, I'm like, well, is this a good beginner pattern? And they all, every one of them, and there were a few, like 3 or 4 at least, and they all said, yes, it's not a problem. They're very easy to follow instructions. Dorothy does have both written instructions and charted instructions. I have heard from other podcasters that if you are overwhelmed by a lot of words, that this pattern will overwhelm you. I don't know, because I just did the charts. I don't use written patterns most of the time. If there's a chart available, I use the chart. I found the chart very easy to follow. If you've ever done lace where you followed a chart, or you've ever done anything where you've followed a chart, doesn't even have to be in knitting. There are other things in life that have charts, that have a little legend that say this is what these things mean. If you can follow a chart, you could use the chart for this. It is simply stunning. It is beautiful. I stole this colorway from Dorothy. The first picture, the sample pictures that she put out for her very first sample were in these colors. She uses Mahjong yarn, I think is the name of it. And she used the Puno Fine, and these are the colorways basically. And so I bought the Drops Air because I couldn't find anywhere that had all the colors I wanted and everything in the Mahjong yarn here in the United States. And if I was going to have to order from overseas, I might as well get some Drops, because I know I love Air. And so I went ahead and got Drops Air. This is the colorway Pearl Gray, and this is the colorway Anthracite. And it's a really, really, really deep charcoal gray. It looks black, but it's really not. That is just really, really dark, deep gray. And I love the feel of it. I love this. The next thing that I want to focus on once I get the test knit, once I get the Lynx pullover done, I want to focus on getting these sleeves done, because this is another one of those. I am going to wear this if I have to walk around with that fan around my neck. They make them, guys. They make these little things that you can put over, and there's a little fan here and it's blowing up in your face. If I have to do that, I will do that. If I have to figure out how to put ice packs to keep cool, I will do that. But this is going to be worn before the end of the season. And we are coming up on the end of the season, because we're coming up on the end of February. We'll have maybe another cold snap in March. we could get snow in April. We have had snow in May, but not a lot, just a dusting. But I doubt very seriously that come April or May that it's going to be cold enough to wear this, since this is an alpaca wool and polyamide blend. And it's a blown yarn, so it's nice and fluffy. All right. So she has been a little bit angry with me, so I decided I'd bring her out and show her off and let her know that she is next on the list. And yes, I do realize that I am talking about a sweater as if it is another person, but I've really become attached to that sweater. All right. Another one that I've been working on, and this one, guys, I may have worked a row, maybe half a row even. I'm not sure. I haven't worked a whole lot on this, but I have worked a little bit. And once I tell you about this, I'm actually going to circle back around because I forgot to tell you something about the Lynx pullover. It wouldn't be my podcast if there wasn't something that went wrong and that I had to go, oh, well, this is real life, right? All right. So this is the Rujuu Sweater. It's a mystery yoke along with Zanette knits, and I just love this sweater. This sweater is just beautiful, and I cannot wait to actually be able to wear it. I mean, obviously it's going to feel a little bit differently. I can't get it down over my shoulders completely, but look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Just look at that. That is going to be so pretty. I cannot wait to get this done. And I am doing this with Peer Gynt, Sandus Garn Peer Gynt, and I'm using 3 colorways. I'm using this whitish color is Ash Melange. The dark blue, and that is dark blue, not black, is Night Sky. And then this is just gray. That's the colorway, gray. And I am just loving the colors, and I'm loving how classic these colors are. I'm not usually a big like, ooh, classic colors, although you wouldn't be able to tell by this one and the one I just showed you. I'm usually more into bright colors and, you know, statement pieces and stuff, but these colors just called out to me. And so I grabbed them, and now I am currently knitting them up. All right. And then another one that I actually got quite a bit of work done on is my Zuri Sweater by Tox Knits. And you can see I got the sleeve done, and look at that. The ribbing or the cabling that's in the raglan is repeated right before you do the rib, and it will also be repeated at the hemline. I am super excited about getting this one done, and I have to share I think it was last episode, I was talking about this little bitty ball of yarn and how it would just roll across. And somebody gave me this tip to put it in a Ziploc bag and then grab a safety pin and pin it to your knit. Well, I grabbed a little stitch marker, a little bulb stitch marker. I need to actually get a safety pin that's bigger that will hold it on there better. But for right now, it is working. And this again is the Zuri Sweater by Tox Knits. She has this in the sweater version, the t-shirt version, and the cardigan version. And the cardigan right now is free on Ravelry. So if you like the pattern and you're like, well, I'm not sure I want to do a sweater or maybe a cardigan, go check that cardigan out. And I am knitting this out of the Knitting for Olive Merino and Soft Silk Mohair in the colorway Blue Tit for both of them. Maybe my favorite colorway, although I did see on Ruby and Pearls today a new colorway called Peacock that looked beautiful. I may have to check that out. But right now, this is my favorite colorway. Even though I love their pink, and pink is my favorite color, this blue just calls out to me. It just is stunning. All right, so hopefully I will get the other sleeve done. Maybe not by next week, because I really want to get, you know, the Lynx pullover done, and then I really want to get my Wintersoul done. But maybe the week after that, I'll have at least the other sleeve done of this. And the sleeve was really quick to knit because you decrease every 5 rows, so it was pretty potato chippy. I just every 5 rows, and before I knew it, I was down there and I was like, oh, look, I'm done. And then I got to do the cables, which is always fun. All right, I'm going to pull the links back out because one of the things that I forgot to talk about, and I meant to talk about it, is I tried a new bind off. And I'm going to see, let me get closer and see if I can get this up there where you can kind of see. I did the root bind off. I like a sewn bind off. I think it's really pretty, and I like how stretchy it is, and this is really nice and stretchy too. And I've been wanting to try the root bind off to see what it was all about, and it was pretty easy. And I went out there on Instagram and I just put in root bind off, and I found one that was by, I think it was a Japanese Instagrammer, because I certainly did not understand the language. But I watched how she did it, because on the Rook official one, she doesn't show how she finishes it off. So I watched it so I could see how she finished it off. I don't know, the jury's still out whether or not I like this as well as I like a sewn bind off, but in a pinch, it went a lot faster than a sewn bind off, and it didn't use as much yarn. So I would for sure do it again. I wouldn't do it on a hem, and I don't do a sewn bind off on a hem anymore, because honestly, you're not going to be able to tell, because if you're that close to that part of my body, I'm probably knocking you out anyway, right? You are not going to be that close to tell what kind of bind off I did on my hem. My sleeves, on the other hand, you're going to see a lot of those. As you can see, I use my hands to talk. I'm like my mother. She had to use her hands. If we had tied her hands behind her back, she could not have carried on a conversation. I am the same way. So you will see my hems, or my, whatever you want to call these, cuffs. That's the word. I couldn't think of the word. You will see my cuffs. And so the bind off for the cuffs is much more important to me than the bind off on the hem. So I do try to do a really nice bind off whenever it comes to the cuffs. And so I do like that. Not sure if I like it as much as the sewn bind off, but it is really nice. And like I said, it goes much faster. Now, last week I asked y'all to give me a baby blanket to knit. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Due to all of the recommendations, I now have a whole list, and I am going to start being smart, and I am going to knit some baby blankets in preparation. I'm going to knit different colors. I'm going to knit some gender neutral ones, yellows, greens. I'm going to knit some blue ones. I'm going to knit some pink ones, maybe some brown ones, right? So I'm going to knit just some different baby blankets in some superwash. And so I have a bunch of ideas now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But there was one. My friend Lisa sent me this pattern, or sent me the recommendation, and I went and got the pattern. And it is the Bray Winds blanket by Lily Lake, otherwise known as Jenny Graham. And I will put a picture up here so you can see it better. But it's just, it's what I was looking for. It's a beautiful, just textured baby blanket, and it looks very feminine. So I really, really liked it. And I will tell you, this pattern is amazing because she has so many different sizes. She has everything from, like, I forget what it's called. Let me see if I can find it in here, because I was amazed at the sizes. And I just may have not put it in here. But yes, sizes goes all the way from a security blanket, so just like a little levy, right, a 20 by 30. It's a little bit bigger than a levy, but like a security blanket that they can hold on to, all the way up to a king-sized blanket in one pattern. Now, I don't know that I'd want to knit a king-size blanket. That would be a lot of knitting. But I like the fact that you have all of those in one pattern. And it really is just a stunning texture. Well, because I wanted to make the next size up from the security blanket, I wanted to do actually like for a stroller or something. I decided I would also change out the yarn I was using instead of the Pacific in that beet color. Even though I love that color, I only have 2 skeins of it, and the smallest size calls for 500 yards, and that was only 400 and something, and I didn't want to cut it even smaller. So I decided I'd use a DK instead of a worsted. And I have some of this, and I brought an entire skein because I couldn't remember the name of it. It is, it's a yarn by Friendly Products, it says, and it's a Variations DK. It's 100% superwash merino, and just this beautiful pink color. I don't know what I was thinking when I bought it. I bought 3 skeins of it, and the colorway is Fiery Pink Spinel. S-P-I-N-E-L, Spinal, I don't know. Anyway, it's a beautiful pink color, and I don't know, I think that I could only get 3 skeins of it when I found it, and I fell in love with the color, and I thought, oh, I'll just grab 3 skeins, and I'll do something with it. I'll, you know, use it in color work, or I'll use, and this was before I really discovered my love for non-superwash yarns and how nice non-superwash yarns are for color work. And then I decided I didn't really want to use superwash for color work. It's okay. It's not that you can't do superwash color work. You absolutely can. And I actually have worked with some superwash recently on doing some color work stuff, but it's just not my preferred anymore. And I found this and I was like, oh, that would make the perfect baby blanket, because obviously I'm going to not give a new mom who is not a knitter a non-superwash anything for the baby that she's going to have to really worry about caring for. And Anna's got, this is her 4th baby, so she's got 3 other kids as well. I'm not giving her anything that takes special care, so superwash is perfect for that. And so I have just gotten the border done down here, and then one little repeat. You do this, see if I can get it close enough for y'all to see the little leaf looking or wheat looking thing that comes up. But there's 4 rows, and then you do that like 4 more times to make 16 to make that stalk. And so I've just gotten 4 rows done, but I've got it cast on, I've got it working, and I will hopefully have some pretty significant progress on this next week as well, because I need to get this done. This and the Wintersoul will be my primary focus after I get links off, because I need to get this done so that I can get this in the mail, since I am not going to Massachusetts in March like I thought I was going to. So I want to get this done so that I can get it sent off. All right, and then that, I have an acquisition, and I'm going to have to lean really far to get it. I wasn't even thinking whenever I put this up. I've been working really, really hard to get my yarns in Ravelry in my stash. And so I have started, as soon as I buy some yarn, I come home, I put it in my stash, I take the pictures, I do all of that, and then I bag it up, I assign it to a project, and I throw it wherever it goes. Well, I didn't even think about, well, I didn't need to, but I want to show y'all, because this is some new yarn that Letha's gotten that's beautiful. This is one of the special orders, because I've told y'all I'm going to try not to buy near as much yarn this year as I did last year. But this is a special order that I asked Letha specifically to order for me, and so it came in. One of them was a pre-order. It got in, and so it came in. So I'm going to lean over and grab it so that I can show y'all this. It's absolutely stunning. All right, and it is by BC Garn. And there are 2 yarns here. One is not the new yarn. This is Samila, and BC Garn's had this for a very long time. This is in the colorway Aubergine, and you can see it's just a beautiful wine, eggplanty color aubergine. It is a beautiful, beautiful burgundy. I love burgundy, but the one that is new is the one that I'm going to hold with it. And this is Svala, S-V-A-L-A. And, oh, isn't that beautiful? And it is dark red. And it is 100% alpaca. This is a lace weight alpaca. And I'm pretty sure it's a brushed alpaca. And so I am going to hold those 2 together. And I am going to make the Amore sweater out of it. I'll put a picture of it up here. And I mean, it could get repurposed, right? I could find another pattern that I really want to make out of it, but that is the plan right now, is to make that sweater out of it. And just, guys, this is another case of, I wish that y'all had Feel-O-Vision, because this is absolutely just, oh my gosh, it is so soft. I want to make a pillowcase out of this and just sleep on it. And they have some really pretty colors. She also got this really beautiful teal color, and I'm trying really hard not to buy that, to hold double, to knit one of Petite Knit's newest blouses that she's got, where she did, I think she did double mohair. It would be so pretty in that teal. We'll see if I can hold myself back. All right, so that is the only acquisitions I have this week. I haven't bought anything else. I have ordered some other stuff. I think I told y'all that Brandon finally agreed to let me knit him a sweater, and so I have yarn coming for that. My brother has picked out his sweater he wants for Christmas, and I have yarn coming for that, because neither one of those did I have yarn in my stash that I could use. So those will be coming in eventually, and I'll share those once those come in. But so far, I have resisted the drop sale. I've resisted all of the Holst Garn. They've had a Coast cleaning sale. I've resisted all of that, and I have resisted buying a whole lot of yarn from Letha other than what I special ordered. But boy, it is hard. It is really hard. But first, I've got to, you know, do things like, oh, I don't know, take care of my son's car, he turned it on yesterday. It made a loud pop and kind of didn't smell good. So it's like, okay, we may have a car repair in our future. I've got some other things I need to take care of around the house. So it's like, okay, I need to not spend money on yarn. And there's a little bit of uncertainty in my job because I am a contractor. And the contract's been signed by everybody but one person. And so I think we're waiting on that one person. And if you've ever been a contractor, you know, it's a little unnerving not to have a signed contract. So that's one of the reasons I'm not going to Massachusetts. There's just too much uncertainty for me to commit to something that's going to potentially cost me a bit of money. And so that's yarn purchases for me as well. I'm putting those on the back burner until I have a little bit more stability. All right. And with that, I'm going to say bye, but I am going to say next week, be on the lookout because I'm quite certain will be another giveaway. I said it was either last week or the week before when I had about 700 followers. I was like, oh, when we get to 1,500, you know, I'll do another giveaway. Thinking that that would be months and months away. And I don't care, right? I don't care. It's up to $10. That's not going to break me. But I was like, oh yeah, it'll be a little while, right? Because I'm just slow and steady growing. And then I put out my Where I Buy Yarn video, and holy cow, guys, I'm at over 12,000 views on that in a week, and have almost, at the time of this recording, I had 1,495 subscribers. So I suspect that I will have 5 more by next week. And so when I do, I'll do another giveaway of a free pattern, and I will give y'all all the details next week. All right. Well, I hope that y'all have a wonderful week knitting, and I will see y'all next week.